And when you find your passion, it ignites you as a person. You just feel awesome. Hello, if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. I've missed you so much. Hugs. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, hello, my name is Crystal. I help people get better at jiu-jitsu and teach people about jiu-jitsu. And if you've watched more than one video and have not subscribed, weird. All right. In jiu-jitsu, you have a choice. You can either choose people that you can easily beat or choose people that push you to get your jiu-jitsu to become better. You can chain together attacks, who knows, escapes, and still has that level of white belt energy that they're just like, they refuse to lose, and they especially refuse to lose to a chick on camera. So they are going to be explosive, they are going to be fighting me, and you are going to also learn better jiu-jitsu because I'm going to show you exactly what went on in this matchup. I do video breakdowns like this on my Patreon. So if you like this, I go even more in depth on Patreon and I put it up on a bigger screen and I just get into it. All right, here we go. Here we are walking onto the mat. He stops to tell me that he has a sore rib. He points to it. He has a sore side and that he's seen me do judo and he doesn't want to start standing. So I say to him, oh, so I should just put pressure on that side then? He doesn't really get it. And then I finally clicks that, I'm joking. So we have the classic, I'm injured, but until you get me in mount type of deal. All right. So right now I am in his half guard. I go for a half guard safety position and move over to his right side to try to do a cut across pass. He tries to bridge. He bridges very aggressively, and so I step over and then take mount and get my grapevine in, and he is trying to trap one of my hands. And see right here, there's an opportunity for me to go to high mount that I did not take, and I should have, because look at this. Look at the, do you see how high he bridged? Like, that's what I'm talking about explosive strength. Like, that was a committed, aggressive bridge and how you should be bridging. Like, this was the bridge of a man who did not want to be mounted. So he was trying to capture my arm, and to prevent that, I stretched out my arms, and I should have taken that opportunity to get to high mount, because then I would have decreased the effectiveness of his aggressive bridge. So he bridges, and right here too would also have been a great opportunity for a hip switch step over. Anytime that you are elevated and they have butterfly hooks in, you can kill those butterfly hooks by doing like a hip switch step over, which is something that like I need to drill more, because that would be very effective and useful in this situation, or anytime I get raised with butterfly hooks, or anytime you get raised with butterfly hooks. So I get back into a combat position because I want to pass his guard. So I'm going either for 2 underhooks, and he butt scoots away from me to disengage. And again, he butt scoots away from me. It's the elusive butt scooting to disengage. But when he does butt scoot away from me to disengage, that gives him, when he re-engages, he gets in his butterfly hooks, which I should have... which I should have addressed right away. So now I am inside his guard, and he is again bridging like, I felt like I was rolling with a bucking bronco. Like, this guy's bridge is super explosive. So during this time frame, I am thinking, okay, like I need to get his shoulders down, I need to get his hips down, I need to control his hips. But all the while, like, look, his guard is wide open. The first step of passing guard is to open their guard. You can never pass a closed guard. So here I was unaware of this, but I had the opportunity to just step back and slide back and be again in a combat position, but I didn't take advantage of that. So again, he is trying his darndest to bridge aggressively and to do a sweep, and I'm trying to fight that and trying to keep his shoulders down. But the problem with just fighting against somebody is you leave yourself open for attacks. And because of my posture and because of my hip position, I left myself open for a Kimura, which is completely like that. His guard was open. So next time I will like know better, and I know that, that I leave an opening for Kimura to be Kimured from guard, because that happens to me with multiple people. So I know it's a hole in my game that people are taking advantage of. So this is a perfect example of, let's say you're rolling, and if something keeps on happening to you, it's because there's an opening that you're leaving people. If multiple people are getting you with a specific submission from a position, it's because of something that you are doing. You are leaving a hole open. And for me to show this, like, you realize that I take MMA fights, like I am like giving my weaknesses on a platter to people, which is fine because I'm working on it. Like, this is like motivation to work on shit. But it's important to not feel sad about stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is Spock-like it just shows me, it's giving me feedback. This is all an experiment. It's all a simulation. And at this point, I'm realizing this, and I'm telling him, man, like I usually get caught in that submission. And he was like, well, it was just open. And I'm like, exactly. So it's like lesson learned. That's something that I need to work on. And for all you white belts getting for me at my gym, here you go. All right, so at this point I am in half guard again. I go to a half guard safety position. I pull my ankle up by his butt because that makes the position even safer. He is trying to bridge. He's trying to get me off of him, and I am trying to get out of half guard and to either get a full side control or get into full mount. And he is bridging like a mofo. I mean, oh my God, I bring my hand around to post up on his hip, and he gets a single leg and starts driving. And at this point, I remember, okay, if I push his head down, that decreases his strength. This is a concept that I learned in wrestling. You significantly decrease the person's ability to hold on to your leg if their head is shoved down on the mat. So that means you have a higher probability of sprawling out your leg and releasing their grip. So during this, look at my face. So during this roll, I wanted to test this. I'm like, okay, I have this very strong, explosive, bucking bronco. Let me shove his head to the mat and see and test if I can decrease his strength and if this will make his grip become so weak that it gets released. So I shove his head to the mat, and he very wisely posts his head on his forearm. That way I can't get his head all the way to the mat. At this moment, I didn't realize this. And at this moment, this would have been a great opportunity to either backstep and get in the Heisman position, or either step over his back and go for a triangle. But I just wanted to see what would happen. And this is my face laughing at my failed experiment, because you have to try stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to see if that head shove would have been enough. But him posting on his forearm was very, very smart, because I wasn't able to drive his head all the way to the mat, so I wasn't able to fully decrease the strength of his grip. All right, so he goes back into closed guard position. I put my hands on his hips in order to stabilize his hips. He swings his feet over to try to go for an armbar. At that point, I step over and I do this little move here. So this isn't anything that was taught to me in jiu-jitsu. I just knew that if I posted my foot on his throat, it would make it very uncomfortable for him. So at this moment in time, what he's trying to do is he's trying to pull my arm straight, but I posted my foot on his throat. And I left a bend in my knee. This isn't mean, okay? This is me making him have a choice. He can either continue to pull and basically force his throat into my heel, or he can let go of my arm. So it's like the choice is yours. Either you literally like choke yourself, like a larynx crush and like a one side carotid artery being pressed, or you can let go of my arm. The decision is yours. So he looks at the camera and obviously is feeling very uncomfortable in this position. He's trying to pull, but it's causing him to just basically, yeah, and he's like, okay, like I'm gonna let go. You win. So I backstep and drive forward to get a side control position, but we're pretty much halfway off the mat at this point. There's like a carpeted area. So I decided to back up and reset. So I reset from a side control position and he is just bucking and hipping out. I typically use my head as a post, and at this point, he bucks so hard that I flip over my head. Having a handout post would have been better. So I do like a throw by position to get past his legs. I step over to a mount position, at which point I know he has that explosive hip. So I try to have really strong grapevines just to see if that would overcome his explosive hip, and it does not. And here I am kind of laughing at it. So I want to be like, okay, there's either a couple of solutions to the problem. One, you're either not doing the technique correct or with enough force, or two, the move that they're doing just is the answer to your move, therefore you need to try something different. So that to me was the feedback of the experiment of like, okay, next time I roll, this is my first time rolling with him. So next time I roll with him, I know that he is going to go for that escape. And I either need to A, get up to high mount very, very fast. That way it makes his hips ineffective, or B, be prepared for it and step over when it does happen, or C, attack. So again, I'm in his guard, I posture up because I do not want to get Kimura'd again. I'm working to pass his guard. I get past his legs. Almost, okay, yep, I post on his thigh to get over his legs because it staples the thigh down to the ground. He is working to escape. I try to step over, he then takes the back. He now has the grapevines. I try to do the step over, but here's one thing that I did not, actually this is a pretty good setup for him. So he goes for an arm bar. Basically, that could have been a better technique on him grabbing my arm, and I didn't even tap, he just stopped right there. Typically, like you can fight out of being, I was surprised that he stopped. So we reset. Instead of just grabbing the arm, if you grab the arm in like a chokehold, that would be better in terms of technique. All right, so we start again, and this move right here, in MMA, well, this is a type of guard pass where you basically have to shoot your hips in to get high up on them. But what he did is he grabbed my ankles to do a sweep. So I wasn't aggressive enough in basically thrusting my hips forward, which is something that I had to work on. Like, I don't know if it's just being a female, but hip thrusting is just not a movement I typically do. this is, yeah. So he gets to sweep. I hip out and escape, and during that time, so anytime that you are trying to escape being mounted, you want to make sure that you keep your elbow on their far side hip. If you overcorrect, you leave yourself open for your back being taken. So here I am trying to remember some leg lock game. being like, all right. So he tries to basically cross face, and I'm back in the combat position. I shove his knee down to pass it. He tries to hip out. I try to switch over to a cut across. I get my knee to staple down his legs. That way there would be enough room for my other knee to pass through, all the while trying to maintain stability, because this guy is just like, as I said before, he is like a bucking bronco. So here I am attacking his arm, because sometimes the best defense is to be extremely offensive, be offensive as possible. So while I'm attacking the Americana, he grips my body and bridges and rolls me, which is interesting because during my MMA fight, she was trying to do that same move and could not do that. So this guy just has like serious explosive strength to be able to pull off moves like that. All right, and this is where he tries to break my guard by putting one arm in and one arm out, which is a big no-no. It's either both arms in or both arms out. And I see this and I jump on a triangle, which he really, I mean, he was like fighting so hard. You gotta like give it to him, man. He was really fighting. All right, so I'll put the rest of this, I'll put this entire video like at the end. When you look at a roll, it's extremely important to be able to look at a roll with like a scientific mind and just figure out the why and not be so afraid of losing to test things. So for example, I wanted to test posting on the head, and I wanted to see if me driving his head down, if that would be enough to break his grip. And him posting on his forehead blocked that, which I didn't see at the time of the roll. So that tells me that, oh, okay, like somebody can defend by putting their, like I need to see how far his head is to the mat. And if I can't forcefully push his head all the way to the mat, I need to change my position, or else he's just going to drive forward and he's going to get, you know, he's going to drive forward with that single leg and it's going to be a takedown. So that was like really good information for me. So I really encourage you to try to take risks and just try new things out, because if you never take risks and you never try out and test new things, you will like never get better at jiu-jitsu at any level. So yeah, so I tested that out and he ended up getting a takedown, and I thought it was pretty funny. When you do jiu-jitsu, it is very hard to take the emotion out of it, and to not feel a certain way, like if you get a submission or if you get submitted. And now at this point in doing jiu-jitsu, I don't feel any type of way when I get submitted or I submit somebody else. Like afterwards, like when he got that Kimura on me, I was like, oh, interesting. Like this is telling me something, especially if I get submitted by multiple people in that position. Like I am leaving an opening that needs to be addressed. For my Patreon, she was like, oh, like I feel so helpless on the bottom. Like you know, it feels like they're stronger than me and I can't get out. And it's like, it's very important to know that like never, ever, 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 ever let somebody tell you that something isn't working because you're too weak or they're stronger. There's always an answer, and there's just always an answer. It's never oh, they're stronger than you, case closed, you can never do this. Like that's the beauty of jiu-jitsu. It's never oh, they're stronger, so, oh well, this isn't meant for you. No, 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 no. If they are stronger and something is happening to you, there is an answer to that you just need to train your body to do. So it's always exciting to go up against somebody who has like that explosive type energy, that like white belt, like because it really tests my ability to maintain mount. It tests my ability to like maintain side control. It tests my ability to like just to do jiu-jitsu. You know what I'm saying? All right. So thank you so much for watching. And until next time, bye. Bye.